Hello everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Today we are going to discuss the text entitled The Open Market in the Digital Economy. The text explains how money, labor, capital, profit, competition, and monopoly work in modern markets. It also shows that markets today are no longer limited to physical place because many transactions now happen through digital platforms, mobile applications, and questions so that we can understand both the economics concepts and the English expressions used in the text.
Yes, I think this topic is very relevant today. Almost every student has experience with digital market, such as buying products online, using delivery apps, or buying with a wallet. So the text is not only theoretical, but also close to our daily life.
I agree. From my experience, digital market have changed how people work and earn income. For example, many people are no longer traditional employees. Some become online seller, freelance designer, content creator, or ride-hailing drivers. Their income is not always fixed, and this makes the concept of labor more complicated.
That is an interesting point. I think the text helps us understand that labor is economically usually measured by payment. But in modern life, many productive activities are not easy to classify. For example, someone who creates educational content online spends many hours, but their income depends on views, followers, advertisements, or platform algorithms.
So, from the beginning, we can see that the text context classical economics concept with modern digital realities. Money is still used as a standard to measure economic value, but the forms of work, income, and market interaction have become more diverse.
I think it is a little unfair because unpaid work can be very important. For example, caring for children or helping family members take time and effort. Even if it is not paid, it still supports the economy indirectly.
Let us move to the next issue, the difference between wage and profit. In the text, regular employees receive wage, while entrepreneur or independent workers may receive surplus after paying their costs. This distinction is important because it shows that not all income has the same economic character. A wage is usually more predictable, while profit depends on risk, cost, market demand, and business performance.
I think that distinction is very clear in the gig economy. A delivery driver or online seller may look independent, but their income can change every day. They may earn more when demand is high, but they also face costs such as fuel, internet, platform fees, and equipment maintenance.
That is why I think digital literacy and financial literacy are very important. In a digital economy, people must understand not only how to sell product online, but also how to calculate costs, risk, margin, and long-term sustainability. Without that knowledge, business may look successful but actually produce very little profit.
From these points, I can synthesize that profit is not simply money received. Profit is the surplus after all costs are paid. In modern markets, those costs may include traditional expenses, such as wage and rent, and digital expenses such as online advertising, software subscription, platform fees, and data service.
Excellent. Now let us discuss capital. The text explains that capital is accumulated surplus used to finance future production in the past. Capital was often understood as land, machines, building, and equipment. But today, capital may also include software, data, digital infrastructure, brand reputation, and intellectual property. This means that the concept of capital has expanded.
So capital is not only physical things, it can also be something intangible like an application, a database, or a strong brand.
Exactly. That is a very important observation.
I would like to talk about the meaning of market. The text says that markets are no longer only physical place. I think this is easy to understand because we can now buy and sell without meeting face to face. For example, we can order food, buy books, pay bills, and even attend online courses through digital platforms.
In the past, buyer and sellers usually meet directly. They could see the product, negotiate the price, and build personal trust. Now, trust is often created through rating, review, payment system, return policy, and platform reputation. This is a big change in market behavior.
So, competition in the digital economy is multidimensional. It involves price, quality, speed, information, technology, and user experience. This makes the market more dynamic but also more complex.
Good. The text also mentions that in an ideal market, information should be easy, transparent, and inexpensive. However, real markets are never perfect. Information may be unequal, algorithms may influence visibility, and consumers may prefer famous brands even when cheaper alternatives are available. This is why the idea of a perfect market is useful as a theory, but real markets need more careful analysis.
May I add something?
Of course, please continue.
I think customer review are very important in digital markets. Sometimes I choose a product not because it is the cheapest, but because many people give positive reviews. So information affects my decision.
That is true. Reviews can influence demand.
But review can also be manipulated. So the quality of information matters.
Now, we enter the issue of monopoly. In the text, monopoly is explained as a situation where on one seller or a small group of sellers has strong control over the market. In the digital economy, monopoly power may come from data, platforms, algorithms, patents, network, and user communities. This is different from traditional monopoly, which often came from control over natural resources or factories.
I think digital monopoly is very interesting because it can grow very quickly. When many users join one platform, the platform becomes more useful. More people join and competitors find it difficult to enter. This is called a network effect.
From real experience, people often continue using one platform because everyone else already uses it. For example, sellers use a marketplace because buyers are there, and buyers use it because many sellers are there. This makes the platform stronger and stronger.
Creates a serious policy challenge. On one hand, both platforms may provide efficiency, convenience, and innovation. On the other hand, they may charge high fees, counter visibility, collect large amount of data, and reduce competition. So, government must be careful when regulating them.
I can connect this with the earlier discussion. Competition is important because it protects and encourages innovation. However, when a company becomes the dominant, the market may become less fair. Therefore, regulation is needed not to stop business success, but to prevent abuse of market power.
I think regulation is important, but it should not be too strict. If regulation is too strict, companies may be afraid to innovate.
That is a balanced opinion. Regulation should protect the public interest while still allowing innovation to grow.
Guys, before we close, I want to say that these texts help us learn economic vocabulary in a meaningful context. Words such as labor, surplus, capital, profit, market, competition, and monopoly are easier to understand when they are connected with digital platform and modern business.
I agree, the modern context makes the text more realistic. Students can relate the concept to online shopping, digital payment, delivery service, startup, and freelance work. This makes the discussion more useful than only talking about traditional markets.
For me, the most important idea is that digital economy does not remove old economic concepts. Instead, it changes the way those concepts appear in real life. Labor, capital, profit, and monopoly still exist, but their forms are monopolies complex.
To synthesize our discussion, we can say the open market in the digital economy is more flexible, faster, and wider than traditional markets. However, it also creates new problems such as unequal information, platform dependence, data control, and digital monopoly. Therefore, both economic understanding and proper regulation are needed.
I learned that markets are not just place. A market can also be a system where buyers and sellers interact, even through application or website. I also understand that digital markets can give opportunities, but they also create risks.
Thank you everyone. Our discussion shows that DevTech is not only about English reading comprehension, but also about understanding modern economic life. We have discussed how money measures economic value, how labor can be paid or unpaid, how profit differs from wage, how capital supports future production, how digital markets operate, and how monopoly power may appear in platform-based economics. We also learned that modern markets are not perfectly free or perfectly fair because information, algorithm, data, and network effects can influence competition. Therefore, as students, we need to understand both the language of economics and the real conditions behind the concepts. I think this discussion has helped us connect vocabulary, grammar, economic theory, and contemporary examples in a meaningful way.
Yes, that was a productive discussion.
I agree, the example made the concept clear.
And the topic is very relevant to correct economic change.
The discussion also gave us a complete picture from concept to application.
I feel more confident now. Thank you.
Thank you everyone. That concludes our discussion. Bye.